The CoinDesk Spotlight is brought to you by Nexo, the place to earn on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and more.
It's policy week at CoinDesk, and we ask, is crypto becoming a partisan issue in the United States? Our next guest has written a CoinDesk article on why she believes attempts to label crypto as red or blue are missing the point. Joining us now to discuss why crypto is too big for partisan politics is Kristin Smith, Executive Director of the Blockchain Association. Hello there, Kristin. So in your article, you noted that Politico had mentioned that Republicans have urged SEC Chair Gary Gensler to go easy touch on crypto innovation last week, while Democrats seem to want a stricter approach toward regulation. And at the same time, a bipartisan group of senators tried to get an infrastructure bill amendment passed. So how partisan is crypto?
I actually think it's more bipartisan than partisan. And the reason for that is that the users of crypto, the investors in crypto, the people contributing to crypto markets come from all parts of the globe, all parts of the country, both ends of the political spectrum. And because we have this very powerful community, that is what policymakers are ultimately going to need to respond to. And so while we may see moments where Republicans might seem a little more engaged than Democrats, I think that has largely passed. We're getting more Democrats excited about this space. And going forward, as more and more people continue to use crypto, I think we're going to have a good political environment to end up getting the right policy that we need for the crypto community to keep growing.
Well, crypto will need all the allies it can get. I'm just taking a look at Galaxy Digital Research's chart, which shows a breakdown of support in the U.S. Senate for digital assets, and it doesn't look so great. If you see here, blue means pro-digital, gray is neutral, red is against crypto in the U.S. Senate, which dominates about 3/4 of the chart. Does that seem accurate to you and a bit concerning?
Yeah, listen, I mean, obviously that's not a trend that we want to continue to see, but I think, these are complex issues. It takes a long time for members of Congress to fully wrap their head around the fact that, crypto isn't just the future of money, it's the future of everything. And it's going to solve a lot of other public policy problems we have with large internet platforms that are, sort of pushing their monopoly power out onto consumers. Crypto networks break that cycle. And so I think that as the innovation continues, as more and more people get involved, what we're seeing right now on the Hill is a tremendous interest from Democratic offices that want to learn, that previously didn't really care to engage. And so I think this might be accurate where we are today, but just based off the conversations our team has been having in the past couple weeks and months, like there is a shift that's happening, and I'm optimistic that we will end up having one of the truly bipartisan issues, or nonpartisan issues, I should say, that the Congress is going to be grappling with in the years ahead.
So we have to return to this topic of the infrastructure bill, which I think is what we were talking about last time you were on the show. There was a lot of fear about this crypto tax provision. That language is still there, right? I mean, we don't know what's happening with the infrastructure bill, but the language that the crypto industry urgently wanted to change has not been changed. So what is your forecast for this? I mean, do you think that language is just going to stay? And if so, how big a deal is that?
Yeah, the problem with language getting tucked into a must-pass bill is it's very hard to pull it out, which is why we pushed so hard in August to try to get the language change in the infrastructure bill. There's no opportunity based off the way they set up the rules in the House to do any amendments to the infrastructure bill in the House. The problem with the infrastructure bill right now is that it's caught up in broader party politics around should there be a large social spending package known as a reconciliation bill, or should there just be the infrastructure? And so it's unclear really to anyone in Washington right now what the pathway forward is for the broader bill. But if it does get enacted, I think that we have a tremendous amount of support within members of Congress to either go back and change the provision legislatively, or, put pressure on the IRS to make sure that they keep the broker definition to firms that are actually brokers. Like everybody wants Coinbase to send them a 1099 at the end of the year. Nobody wants a software developer to have to go around asking for a bunch of personally identifiable information so that they would have to comply. So I'm optimistic that we'll be able to work with the IRS, but it's definitely something we want to keep an eye on. It's definitely something we want to ultimately have fixed, but I'm confident that in the short run, we'll be able to manage the issue and prevent anything, truly overreaching from happening.
Kristin, I kind of want to get back to your previous statement that crypto is a bipartisan issue, but isn't ultimately its kind of libertarian ethos a reason why it would find a natural home, let's say, in the Republican Party versus Democratic Party, which generally has a interest in having government grow and government spending grow and some political control over the money supply?
I mean, I think when I speak with Democrats, they care about a lot of things, right? They care about U.S. competitiveness vis-a-vis China. They care about financial inclusion and trying to figure out ways to provide better services. They care about systems that don't discriminate against people. And crypto helps with all of that. Crypto are solutions to these problems. And it's early stage, right? Like, this is not something that every single person is out there using every day in order to have better financial services. But that's okay. Rome wasn't built in a day. We have to allow time for experimentation to take place, for developers to do work, for there to be tests and trials and errors. And that's part of the process. But what these crypto networks are today is going to be the foundation for so many services in the future. And we need to let that work be done. And ultimately, more and more people will use applications that are based on crypto networks. It's not going to be just buying and selling Dogecoin for, the entertainment value of it. It's really going to be services that change our lives, that reduce costs and empower people at the edges of the network to have opportunities they otherwise wouldn't have.